What is one advantage you possess that sets you apart from the opposing candidate?
Okay, I guess I can start here. So I would say 1 year of board experience. So I understand Pedro was an intern, but I feel like as an intern, especially because I was an intern last spring, there are some qualities and processes you don't necessarily see as an intern, and that's only something you experience with board.
Um, I would say that as being an intern for quite a while, I have been able to be more familiar with the treasure position since I was able to shadow him more than twice. Or twice.
Your next question is, what is one thing you believe you would personally be adding to executive board?
So I touched on this little bit in my platform, but I do think new ideas regarding treasure, some of them do fall under fundraiser, but to my understanding, we should be working closely together anyway. So I feel like any ideas that I bring to fundraiser would also apply to treasure and vice versa.
I too was also thinking about working with the fundraising director, maybe to produce more merch for Fusion members. It was one of my ideas.
Alright. Your next question, as a member of executive board, you are one of the main leaders within the full board. Please describe your leadership style.
So I think what's important to being a leader is knowing how to follow. And let me explain that. So it's tough to be a good leader when you don't necessarily know what your followers are going through. You know, if there's not that level of empathy or sympathy, they might not have that connection. So I do feel like after being on a appointed board, kind of following executive board and really looking up to them, I kind of know the expectations of the follower, and I know what to implement as executive.
I think no. As a leader, you need to know what's going on with the people that you're working with, and so I think it's important to assess first, like what do your people need, what's their status, and then continue forward from there based on their situations to see like, oh, what can I do to help them push forward to what they need to do.
Thank you for your answers. The next question is, can each of you briefly discuss any specific event or program you would like to allocate more funds for?
Yeah, so I did mention the subscription to the academics, but also I think it'd be really cool with secretary to have like senior send-off merch, or when there's an alumni event, maybe like a gift basket or food. Yeah, food. I think I feel like the alumni kind of branch of Fusion can definitely benefit from a little bit more funds, and that's not something I would mind experimenting with as treasurer of Playground.
For me, I was thinking in addition to merch, maybe some pens or socks, like what they did a couple of years back, I believe. And also, panels too. guess I'm not really entirely sure how to apply more points, but more panels for sure.
Alright. Thank you. Your next question is, as a member of exec board, you choose your appointment. What are some qualities you look for in a potential appointed board member?
So, for ESC, I did interviews for a lot of our general members, and it's pretty easy to see when someone's not passionate about something. Like if they're just in it for like the resume, or like they're interviewing, like, oh, I have some ideas, but they, you can just kind of tell, like they just want it just to like say they're in the club. So I think passion is a thing that goes a long way. I think it's easier to do work when you're passionate about it. It really doesn't become work when you're passionate about it. So thinking that they'll enjoy the position is probably the number one thing I look for in an interview.
I also would say passion too, but also I think communication is also key. Just because like as treasury, you need to know like what funds or budgets you're spending that needs to be done for other programs. Like let's say social director, like if they want to plan an event, they need to communicate well with treasury to know like, oh, this is going to be like probably this much for each person and whatnot. So communication is important.
Alright. Your next question. Once appointed board has been chosen, how do you plan on fostering healthy relationships with your appointed board?
So I think I could talk about my experience on this year's board. In my opinion, spontaneity was really what kind of kept our board together. So it wasn't necessarily the plan going out. It wasn't necessarily the board retreats. It was more of the, hey, we're getting boba. Like, anyone want to go? And then some people will go. Some people will hang out. It's kind of silly, but like Clash of Clans thing is really good. I mean, I definitely think I've grown a little bit closer with some people because of that. But it's definitely the little things, and it doesn't have to be something grand to become closer to the point of board.
I was thinking just like checking up on people or like your board buddies like maybe daily or weekly, just to know like how they're doing, and, like, what's going on in their life.
Alright. With Fusion, your next question. With Fusion experiencing a surplus in budget from increased funding, how will you manage or continue this growth for next year?
So I feel like, so we did I think 4 bacon wraps each quarter, except for this one. But I think we'd be able to maintain that, and if I'm able to if elected, if I'm able to do fundraisers after as many general meetings as possible, I think we'll be able to maintain these funds. And regarding allocating them, I mean, more money for general meetings would be nice, of course. I mentioned secretary, like senior send-off, academic subscriptions would be really good. Regarding like professionalism, I talked a little bit about this with Pub this year, but I think headshots would be really cool. We can get that for people who might want it. Allocating funds to that as well. I mean, we have the IM starting up, so if we get really serious about that, jerseys would be really cool for that too. But yeah, managing all the funds, like trying new things is definitely something that's important to me. As far as organizing them, I feel like the system we have in place already is pretty strong. So the logistical side of it, I think, is set in stone and solid.
I would say looking back on the history of Fusion to see what the previous board has also come up with and to see what they have done and to account for the growth to see what how to properly expand upon. So,
Alright. So this will be your last question. It actually comes from the exec elect so far. So buckle up, it's kind of a serious question. Here we go. Peter, hands up. What is your favorite part of the bacon wrap hot dog? Are you a bun bias, hot dog bias, or bacon bias?
I would say I am a. What were they?
There's a bun, there's a hot dog, and there's a bacon bun.
Oh. Okay. I would say I'm a bacon bias, or I guess a little bit of both bacon and dog, just because I really enjoy wrapping the dogs. I've been numerously complimented on my wrapping technique. So if you can talk to me later, if you're curious.
Personally, I'm going to take a cooking standpoint for this. So I'm going to go with bacon because, dude, the sausage does not cook on the thing, and it takes forever. And like the bacon's always crispy, and the middle is always like, not always. They're good. They're good. They're good. No, they're good. They could. Yeah, they're both good. But the bacon's better because it's like greasy and crispy at the same time, you know.
Nice. Thank you.
Yay!